Peace. This is Start with the Start Blooms. Um, this message is gonna be a little bit different. I haven't done a message like this in a while. Y'all, one of the first things that I learned coming into like my spiritual journey, into spiritual awareness, right, was about gematria and numerology. Within the last 2 years, however, after taking a course, I basically I got introduced to like a whole new world of my meaning, of my being. And it gave me so many answers. And it allows me the ability to call in certain layers of death based off of my ability to sit within the layers of it, to be able to discover what is there to perceive. And that's first is in name. One of the energies that I called forth today based off of how I was channeling and basically just being in receipt of what's actually current in our energy 1043 um, was jealousy, y'all. Jealousy is a 27-9 number. Hold on. Let me see a second. 1 second, y'all. I was trying 122, 123. I was trying to see if I could actually pick up my paper without messing up my cards and show y'all, but it's like I have it written on a little bitty piece of paper and it don't really show up that well. So I'm just gonna read it. So jealousy. Jealousy is an 8-letter word. However, its sum total is 27-9. If you made it like to the 10th power, it would be 18-9. So I just left it at 27-9. And I think it's necessary that I leave it at that because it sits in a rate of balancing on the spiritual path for transition, for transformation, right? When I sat with her energy and I opened up to allow whatever needed to come through, I recognized that she was in androgynous spirit, basically a masculine and a feminine energy. I want to personally speak on the loop that I basically perceived as a spiritual loop in initiation and in activation. I wrote some notes and I'll basically just read a little bit of what I have here so we can stay focused. I said, he is a dangerous energy that seeks to conquer perception, standing in the midst of thresholds that propel through forward movement. She comes in stagnant through propaganda, deceit, and trickery. She's in the blood. It's deep. And I paused there, 1044, because I recognize a lot of the information that I was pulling through was just being channeled. Um, with the blood, y'all, with all, with the blood, I'll just say that at our rate, let's just speak from that rate, right? Um, Spiritual beings who are here in the midst of awakening, in a, ascension, we recognize that the divine threshold is the matriarch, it's Mars, the mother, um, the divine cord, the silver cord, the thread that basically keeps us anchored to the spiritual realm is through the matriarch, and it's embedded deep in the blood, ancient memory, um, eons upon eons worth of information in each thread of the DNA, and it's woven with a lot of us who are basically on the charge of breaking the spiritual curses, healing. Um, that a lot of these threads are warped in layers of treatment, things that can be addressed, things that can be acknowledged, things that awareness could be shined upon it for us to basically be able to gain perception and perceive at a deeper rate, to have greater, bigger, larger understanding, right? When you think about the divine feminine, however, because we are coming out of a patriarchal system, there's been so much tarnishing that's occurred within her. She hasn't been seated on her throne for some time. And in the flip of what's occurred within her, there's a need for so many things that have been seen as masculine to be represented in their feminine nature. They have to be. And a lot of correction is being made on the back burner, but also like on the front lines as well. And a lot of people who are on their spiritual path, on their spiritual mission, are and have been charged with these tasks. When dealing with jealousy, I recognize the different rates of not being able to prosper. I even pulled cards for each, I said half of her energy. And the first card that I got as far as her mood was basically the listening of the body. When you think about jealousy, when I think about jealousy, I see jealousy as a rate of possession through deception, right? So there's an idea of wanting to have, needing to have, feeling entitled to something that is innately in the blood, and you're aware that you have the right to have it. But say if for the last 10 to 12 generations you've had to basically live in the shadows of your forefathers and foremothers who made decisions that caused and cost the lineage, and those brackets weren't broken, the tree basically kept the root, and no maintenance was done. You live in a space where you could basically have an awareness that the things that you desire, um, they resonate with you at a deep rate. However, you may only perceive them on other people and see the steps needing to be taken to be too extreme to be able to acknowledge. You may be and live in the space of fog, not having clarity, not being able to get beyond the confusion and the chaos, not recognizing how you are even being protected a lot of the times by you not having certain things because of how your blood needs to be nurtured in order to usher in the new rate. um the last card that kind of flew out for the feminine energy was train departing. And it was hilarious because it's like, and reading it now, it's even more hilarious. It says, not every ride is meant to wait for you. Sometimes missing it sets you free. And that once again is the layer of detachment, right? There is the truth in the belief in receipt that we get to basically have in knowing. However, because it's so deeply embedded in the blood, there is like a divine fight that happens and occurs. With her, she doesn't really give a receipt of surrender. It's more of a let go, and it's a decision made, and it came in at 10:01, and then it ended at 10:10, and that let me know the completion of what needed to basically come to. Um, in order for things to be corrected within the rate of jealousy, there's this truth that basically has to be flipped upside down, and it has to basically be deciphered for exactly what is. And that's painful, right? Anytime you go within, truly go within at the deepest depth in surrender, allowing yourself to trust the inner guidance that is present with you there, you have an opportunity to perceive. I was going to say Black Goddess because I'm looking at a deck that I have right here. But you have, yes, the yin and the yang. You have an opportunity to perceive the darkness at a rate where you get to respect and honor it. I'm going to make this a two-part, and I'm going to bring it together, um, so there could be fullness in what it is that I want to share innately about jealousy. Like, comment, share, follow for part two. Um, yeah, I'll be back. Okay.